On a summer night, Victoria, Lynn and Edward come to the park drunk. They begin a sort of séance, gleaned from a book of Victoria's, calling on a sex goddess to join them in ceremony. Lynn claims to see the goddess and yells, "Look out!" in an attempt to frighten Victoria and Edward. Victoria starts calling to the goddess again, disappointed that the séance fell apart. She refers again to her book, telling Lynn and Edward about a community ruled by a priestess, a community in which men had no status. Victoria, Lynn and Edward hear someone approaching. Lynn and Edward dare Victoria to proposition the stranger for sex. She does so, but the stranger turns out to be Martin, who has been out looking for Victoria. Martin notices that the others are drunk as they jump on him, pulling him down into the beginnings of an orgy. At this point, another stranger arrives. Lynn recognizes the person as her brother, referred to as Soldier. The soldier tells Lynn that he has come for a fuck and then disappears. Lynn collapses, and Victoria comes over to attend to her. Lynn invites Victoria to come home with her. Edward, Lynn and Victoria depart together, and Martin leaves alone. Jerry comes on to address the audience, saying that he prefers living alone. Then, Edward from Act I enters and tells Jerry that he loves him. Jerry tells Edward that he loves him also. At this time, some, or perhaps all, of the cast enters and sings the song Cloud 9. The song's verses become more perverse as the song progresses. Back in the park in late summer, Kathy comes on with another poem about true love. Edward and Martin follow. Martin will be babysitting Kathy and Tommy, so Edward is preparing him. Betty comes in rambling about her new job as a doctor's assistant. She lets Kathy count her money, and then turns to Martin to assure him that Victoria will come back to him when she sorts herself out. Kathy scurries off when she hears ice cream bells, dragging Martin and Betty with her. When Kathy, Martin and Betty leave, Jerry arrives, finding Edward. Jerry learns that Edward has been living with Victoria and Lynn. Edward mentions that the three of them sleep together. Kathy runs in to give Edward some ice cream and then leaves. Jerry asks Edward to have a meal with him sometime. Edward agrees and then leaves. Harry from Act I arrives, and he and Jerry leave together. Betty returns to the park followed by Maud from Act I, who warns Betty of the dangers of independence. Then, Ellen from Act I comes in to ask Betty again what she should expect from sex with a man. She tells Betty not to forget her. Maud and Ellen leave. Betty addresses the audience, speaking about her first experience with masturbation as a child. She then relates her rediscovery of masturbation this year and how it gave her the power to defy her mother and Clive.